Okay, the next thing we're going to take a look at is scientific notation. Now, you don't even need a calculator for this first part, okay? You need to do these samples with me, and then this is your assignment on the back, front, back. Now, what scientific notation does is it basically takes numbers that have a crap load of digits, okay, and it simplifies them. Now, before we worry about anything else, there's three things I need you to do here. Three. First off, circle where the decimal's at, which is right here. That's the first thing you need to do. Circle where the decimal's at. Next thing, second thing I need you to do. Going this way, always this way. Find the first number that's not 0 this way. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 5. I want you to mark that with an arrow. Just make it point it out with an arrow. That's the second thing. And the third thing, you do these three things. It's first, second, and third. Do you have to move this decimal left or right so that it's behind this digit here, the 5? That's come after the 5. You would have to go to the right. So I want you to write the word right. If you're going to the right, you're going to put a negative sign right there. Okay? So I need those three things done. Then what I do is I move this decimal so it's behind this digit here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there, put it right there. Now, what you have now is 5.4, okay? Because now here's your decimal. There's a 5 in front of it. There's a 4 behind it. All these extra zeros, I drop out of the problem. 5.4, that's a point. It looks like a crappy point. And then what you write is times 10. You always use 10 as your base. Always. All these problems are going to be times 10. And 10 needs an exponent. It's going to be a negative because that's what we put up there. And now I count how many digits are between the decimals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Between here and here, there's 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 10 to the negative 6 power. Okay, that's done. Next problem. Now, if you don't have a decimal, because we got to do the three things first. If you don't have a decimal, you put it at the very end right here and circle it. That's the first thing. Second thing, looking this way, what's the first number I come to that's not a 0? Well, it's 6, okay? So I want to mark that out. Now, the next thing, would I have to move this decimal left or right to put it behind the 6? We need to move the decimal always behind that number we mark with the arrow. Well, I'd have to move it left. It'd have to go this way. So that's left. And if it's left, we're going to put positive on our exponent. So three things. Decimal needs to be spotted out. If you don't have one, it's at the end circled. Mark the first digit that's not a 0. And since we have to go to the left, okay, it's positive. So now move it behind. It needs to come right after the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. The decimal is right here. There's a 6 in front of it. There's a 7 behind it. And if the rest of them are all zeros, you don't put them. Times 10. And this time the exponent's positive, so don't put the negative sign. Now count the digits between your two decimals, the starting and the ending. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 10 to the 9th power. Now you're like, why do you use 10? Well, because anytime you move the decimal place, you're multiplying by a 10. Well, since you're doing that 9 times, 10 to the 9th power. Okay, next problem. Circle your decimal that's in the problems right there. Now, going this way, I can't emphasize, you don't look this way, you're going this way. You look for the first number that's not a 0. So, right there, mark it. Now, we need to move the decimal so it's behind this number. It's got to go right here. Do you have to move right or left? Well, you'd have to move it to the right. So if we're going to the right, it's got to be a negative exponent. So move it to the right. I need to see that circled. I need to see the arrow put. And I need to see whether you have to move right or left to put it behind that. Right is negative, left is positive. So move it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop, because that's where I want it. So I put my decimal. Before the decimal, I have a 4. After the decimal, I have a 0, but then there comes a 6. So I need to put 0, 6 times 10. And then how many digits do we got between them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. But it's negative 8 because we decided, since we had to move it to the right, it's negative. Okay, next problem. Here's the decimal. What's the first non-zero digit going this way? Not there, 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 not there. There, okay? Mark that number with an arrow. Then, do you have to move this right to get past the 7 or left? Well, you'd have to move it to the right again. So it's right, so put a little negative. Okay, now move it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the number I want the decimal behind. So I put the decimal. Before it we have 7, then a bunch of zeros, don't put it. Then afterwards you got 2 zeros, but you need to put those because there's an 8. So 7.008 times 10. Now we know it needs to be a negative power because it's right. That's why I write that. And how many digits are between the decimals? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 7.008 times 10 to the negative 8th power. Okay, number 1, mark your decimal. Well, you don't see a decimal, so it's at the end. Okay. Now, looking this way. That's not a 0, so that's the number I mark. Now, do I have to move that decimal left so it's behind there, or would I go right? Well, obviously, you can see you'd have to move it to the left. So left, and that means our power of 10 is positive. Very nice if I know that. So move it so it's behind the number you marked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have our decimal. There's a 4 in front of it. There's a 7. Then there's a 0, but then there's a 9. So I have to stop at the 9. Times 10. Power is positive. Now just count the digits between your decimal points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 10 to the positive 6 power. Okay, my next problem. Don't have a decimal, I guess it's at the end. There's the first thing. Now, looking this way, find left to right, find me the first digit that's not a 0. Well, there's the first digit, it's not a 0, so that's the one we mark. Now, to get the decimal from here to here, that needs to move to the left. So left means it'll be a positive exponent again. So now move it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10. Sorry, I don't want it there. I want it here. It's got to be there. So point, we have a 1 in front. Now behind it I got a 5, a 4, a 4. Then the rest of it's all zeros, so I don't need to put any of those zeros. Times 10. Power's positive. Now to find the actual power, you count the number of places the decimal was moved. Or just count the numbers between your decimal, your original decimal and your ending. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 to the 9th power. Okay, next. Here's my decimal. And what's the first number I got that's not a 0? Well, that's 0. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 7. Mark out your 7. So your decimal has to go after the 7. You would need to move it to the right, which means my exponent on the power of 10 would be negative. So move it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you put a decimal, and you're going to put 7 in front, and you're not going to put anything behind it. If nothing comes behind it, eliminate the decimal. It's just the number 7. Times 10. We need a negative power. Count the digits. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 10 to the negative 7. Okay, then my next one. You need your beginning decimal. You don't have it, put it at the end. Circle it. Now mark out the number you want the decimal to go. It's the first non-zero digit. Well, my first digit's an 8, which is not a 0, so that's what I mark. And to get the decimal to go behind the 8, we have to move to the left, meaning my power is positive. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have my decimal. There's an 8 before it, and then afterwards is all zeros. So I'm not going to put anything after it because it's nothing but zeros. So if I'm not going to put anything after it, let's just get rid of it. Okay, so it's just the number 8 times 10, and that's positive power. We decide that. Now, how many digits you got between decimals? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 8 times 10 to the 9th power. Okay, why don't you pause the video and do 1 through 4, okay? By the way, if you can't see the decimal, it would be here. I don't have one, so it's here. Right here. And I don't have one, so it's here. Pause the video, then I'll show you how to do 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are easy, okay? It's these first 4 that are confusing. Okay, now what they do is they give you the number in scientific. You got to find it in standard form. Well, this is easy to do. You just take 2.75 and multiply by 10. Hit your power key, which is this key here. It's an upside down V. 6. That's the number. 2750000. Now you're like, where's the decimal? You don't have one. It'd be at the end, but if your calculator doesn't give it to you, don't put it. Now, after every 3 digits, I would like to see commas. So that's 2,750,000. It's like you're doing what you just did. You're going the other way, but it's much easier to get it out of scientific notation than to put it in. Okay, I'm going to take 1.69 times 10. Hit your power key. -4. Okay, so 0.000169. Okay, 7.8 times 10 to the 8th power, so 7.8 times 10 to the 8th power. So hit your power key and just hit 8. A lot of digits there. 7, 8, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Now, comma, comma, 780 million. These are hundreds, tens, ones, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, 10 millions, 100 million. Okay, and then the last one, 3.2 times 10 to the negative fifth power. Okay. 0.00032. Don't put commas when you have the decimal. Okay, that's the thing. Decimals there, don't put any commas after it. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, and you do 5, 6, 7, 8.